What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Neg Entropy Chronicles. You saw the thumbnail, saw the title. This is very serious because I made a video before talking about men and women devalue each other. But this is what no accountability about who you mess around with and the unwillingness to acknowledge that they play a part in what society is today looks like. If you think I'm joking, let's go ahead and check it out, all right?
An emotional decision is one where you have the men not contributing anything to you, which we know they're not. They don't protect you. They don't provide for you. They're murdering you every 6 hours. They're wreaking havoc on their children. And you say, well, we can't live without them. Well, my brother, my uncle, my grandfather, that's when you're making an emotional decision. Mm-hmm. When we sit up here and say, well, look, these men aren't serving any purpose. They're harming you. They're leaving you single mothers. They're wreaking havoc in the community. The logical decision then would be to control how many of them are here. Mm-hmm. That's called logic.
That's right.
That's called logic.
Now, if you look at the time frame of the video, it's 20 minutes in. She had a lot of connection issues, everything like that. But in the 20-minute marker, they have already talked about deleting children before they set foot on this earth if they are boys. So she is talking about a genocidal act of removing black boys during pregnancy. So instead of saying there is a faction of black individuals who are not good for the community, the ones that are shooting up the block, selling drugs to people, you know, whatever narrative you want to use, but instead you want to destroy the future births and say that's actually logical, because theoretically, not even theoretically, what happens is when you start removing the people who also participate in making children, you end up destroying your race. So she's saying in order to deal with the black race, black men, because they are dating different races, doing biracial dating, having biracial children, they're already trying to X out the black woman. Even though statistically that's not accurate. There are more black couples that exist than the mixtures. If you look at her skin tone, she is not purely melanated, dark, wonderful chocolate skin. She is, whether you deem her light skin, brown skin, red, whatever, she has a different ethnicity somewhere in her bloodline. That doesn't matter. Now, mind you, while she's talking about this, she is also a parent to a young black man, if I'm not mistaken. So you were promoting the genocidal act against black boys, and yet you have one. But let's get back into the video.
Absolutely right.
And strategy. And so we need to get out of emotion and stop thinking about really we live in black male worship. We live in black male worship. Because I'm telling you, if black women were the most problematic in the community, this would not be an issue. And according to black men, we are the most problematic ones in the community.
Wow.
And they're saying they're not going to change because they don't need to. They think the problem is you. The problem is you black women who are not choosing better. The problem is you black women who refuse to pick better men. The problem is you black women who just don't want to play your role. You don't want to submit. You don't want to let them lead, yada, yada, yada. That's what they think the problem is. The problem is not them, to them. And if you're not a problem or your behavior is not a problem, then you're not going to change it. You don't change what's not problematic.
Wow. So I don't know how much longer I'm gonna spend on this because it is actually taxing, being the fact that I have listened to some of their stuff, her stuff already. I want you to understand something. She said black men are not accountable. That's what she's saying. But black men are saying, no, you also got to be accountable for your choices, because for the last 30 years that I'm aware of, black men are garbage, black men are trash, black men this. They have shows upon shows upon shows where they make it where the black man is the villain of the story. Even Tyler Perry does it. If you look at his stories, it's usually a black dude who comes in and saves her from the bad black man that she's been with. You know what I'm saying? But when you really look at it, for the past 50, 60 years, right? Well, 50, for the last 50. When you talk about single family households and how much they've grown, only black women have been in charge of those black families. Because truly and honestly, during the programs when they started setting up, looking out for women and their kids, they could not have men in the house. So they would choose said individuals to not be there in order to get the government assistance. Now the next generations after that said, we don't need men. We can do it better, right? So if you are the only people raising these children and they're coming out bad, excuse me, but you said you could do it better, but the prison rate was going up, all of these things are going up. Black men were being blamed for that. They're not in the household. They have no statements on how the kids are being raised. They don't have any disciplinary aspects. They don't have any aspects to raising this child to be anything. Their absence was the problem. But then, when men were like, I was raised by a single mother, she did the best she could. Everybody says it's the best they could do. But when the black men started coming out and saying, no, she kept me away from you, or she was doing this, she was doing that. Oh man, you're a man, you don't know what you're talking about. But statistically, when we look at it, single family households, crime goes up. And if you look at the people that are in prison, it's typically from single family households. Because they have a decision to make, because there's no man in the household to help guide them. They're getting a lot of emotional information. They're not getting enough information. Period. So there's no man around. And then when the fathers do want to be around, well, if you don't take me, then you don't get either of us. I don't need you. I need to raise my son. No one talks about how the women have deliberately stopped men from raising their kids. And now you see it happening because of social media, things like that. I've seen fathers go to pick up their kids and the mother causes strife to where they can't do it. Now, because I can make mountainous videos just based off of this stuff alone. But she said there are black. Now, I don't know if she's just talking about a small faction of the community, the Pookies and Rayways that we talk about. Maybe she's talking about that, but that's not true, because she's saying just all black men that are going to be born, which means that you're not even giving them an opportunity to be raised correctly. You just want to X them out, right? So now you're talking about black men don't protect families. I'm having a conversation with one of my homegirls. I'm like, look, that's not accurate, because there was a black father who went to the store. The mother and the grandmother in the house. The infant is sleeping in the basement in the crib. He comes back from the store. The house is on fire. They're standing outside screaming, help, help, somebody help. Where's my baby? He had to run in. He ran into the house. Not had to. Well, yeah, had to. He runs into the house on fire, gets the baby, and runs back out with her. But black men don't protect the black family. Then these women are calling, like, why would you want to have a baby with a demon? These are other videos. I'm not going to play all of that just because it's just too much. Then you're talking about genocidal behavior. Not, maybe I should have raised this child better. Maybe I gave him too much and didn't make him understand what working for it meant. Maybe I created a spoiled monster. Maybe I didn't love the kid enough. Because there are some parents that you see, they be like, man, she ain't never hugged me. All she did was whoop me. That's it. And they created monsters. Look at some of these gang affiliated people. Most of them didn't have any men in the household, not because they didn't want to be there while they in prison. Instead of the mother showing, hey, this is what you don't want to do. This is where you don't want to end up. Well, she got to work 3 jobs because the dude in prison. But they weren't married before they got together. So there wasn't even a family structure to even being started anyways. One night stands. Let's talk about one night stands. And a woman gets pregnant off of a one night stand. Now what? She probably don't even know the dude's name. But yet it's that dude's fault. And she's not accountable. It's because the men are bad. Just the men are bad. Because what happens? Men are held accountable. Well, you should have wore a raincoat. You should have wore a raincoat. Now you got to pay for the next 18 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me see what else she got on this video, because I'm already dragging on too long. But let's see what's going on.
So the bottom line of it is black men are not going to change. They're not.
Well, there's no reason for them to change. Like we see what they say, that they're not worried about it. They know that largely black women are still going to deal with them, which, I mean, that's just a fact, right? But there is no reason to do it. There is no reason. Black women are not requiring better for them. And here's the thing, this is why I don't like discussing even healthy relationships between black men and black women. Wow. Because to be honest, and I know people are going to take issue with this, but I'm just going to have to give it to you raw and uncensored. Okay? Regardless of the fact of how many of us are in relationships or who have had, great experiences with black men, with our black fathers, whatever, your black son, whatever, right? I don't want to misrepresent anything or give you hope.
Wow.
I don't want to give you hope, because I don't want you to be disappointed, because what I'm seeing more often than not is that men are interested in protecting and covering for these behaviors that are harming you. I would rather, I even said that I was going to stop even defending myself when women come to attack me because they need me to be in a bad situation. I would rather black women feel like they feel completely and get a true picture of what black men are. Because if you don't, then you may misunderstand the reality like I did for many years. I did not know that black men were this bad to women. I did not know. I didn't know it was this bad. I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was just a little of them that were acting out and that were doing these egregious things. But no, it's the majority of them, and I don't want to give you hope. I don't want to.
Holy moly. Now, mind you, this goes on for 2 hours and 57 minutes. 2 hours and 57 minutes of them saying I don't want you having no hope. All of these dudes is like that. And it's disgusting, disappointing, because if you've got black men out here right now that are saying, well, you need to lose some weight, go get some counseling, go do this and this. Oh, he likes men. He don't like women. He gotta hate women to talk like this. What would y'all say about this person? What would be y'all statement? What would these individuals be called? Would y'all say that, oh, they just hate black men? Obviously they do, because they're admitting they do. But let's talk about the black father who saw his daughter dating a boy that was not good for her. Hey, you need to stay away from him. Stop bringing that boy around. Told that boy to his face, do not come around here. She snuck him in one more time. The morning the father comes in, sees him, they get into an argument. The young man shoots and kills him. So are you saying that black father needed to die anyways? Because he wasn't providing for his family? He was married. These were his kids. 2-parent household. But the child wanted the hood dude, and that hood dude killed her father. Now, I can guarantee you that hood boy lived in a single family household. But this young girl still wanted to mess with him. So who does that fall on? You got a father in the house raising you, putting down rules. Stay away from this. He dies. Was he problematic? Was he not a provider? Was he not a protector? Well, what's your response to that? Oh, what about the stepfather who went to see what was going on between his 2 stepdaughters and a boyfriend? that boyfriend killed him. So the younger generation, these are not these men's children. They're defending their children and they die. You know what I'm saying? What do you say to that? So black men are the problem. But let's talk about this logically. If you, as that woman, decide to, date white men, Asian men, Spanish men, whatever, and you get pregnant and it's a boy, are you going to abort that boy? Oh, snaps, I said the word because they've been saying it. My bad. You going to get rid of that child? Because if you do, you're saying that the white man or the white man, Spanish man, Asian man, they all have evil seeds too. Because at the end of the day, that child is going to be black because it was born by you. So are you just, it don't matter the race or anything? Or are you just going to not have kids, period, and help assist the extinction of your ethnicity? I'm just wondering. It's a sad day when you start to see that the devaluing of each other has gotten so bad that you really think about how good Willie Lynch pulled it off. Willie Lynch did his thing, and it has gotten so bad that they're talking about genocide against themselves. But that's all I got for y'all. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. Man, that's all I got for you. Peace.